We have been for a long time. We have in studio with us the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Zane Lightbourne, an educator turned politician. You can't make this stuff up. How you go from education straight to politics? You look like the politician back in there.
Well, I don't know if politics...
He was a politician.
I don't know if politics have a luck.
You ain't the politics have a luck?
No, I think anyone from any walk of life...
Fred look like a politician, man. Right. You only Fred like a politician?
I think the Fred is a politician, therefore. Well, you know, if the depends on if that's your, measuring tool. The standard.
Politicians don't look. I think politicians
I can line off a whole generation, 2 generations of politicians, none of them look alike.
Boy, Christie looking a politician, Perry Christie looking politician. Look, can you imagine Perry Christie doing anything other than politics?
No, I got your point.
No, man. Well, listen, man, I want to say good afternoon to you. You've been in this thing now for just over 4 years, and how has it been?
It's been great. It's an awesome opportunity I don't take for granted. I always wake up in the morning and thank God first for every opportunity that He has given me to lead, to showcase my skills and talent, that someone or some people saw something in me to cause me to be believed in. I asked Him to shine His light through me so that others will give Him the glory. I also ask Him to remove stumbling blocks and surround me with people that I can help and that can help me and that mean me well. And so I think that every day I wake up in a profession that I chose is a blessing on me. And so I thank the people of Yamacraw and the people of this country who express every day their desires for a progressive country to move forward, and who hold me in some type of esteem to be capable and credible to help in that particular move or that movement.
You've had there are very few persons. If you're listening in Turks and Caicos Island, if you're listening anywhere in the Bahamas, that's the voice of Zane Lightbourne, the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources here in studio. He's also the acting president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers. Zane has been an educator for a very, very long time. He has shared his love for not only young people in this country, but also his love for teachers here in our country. He has stood up and he's fought tooth and nail for the rights of teachers, the salary of teachers. He's been fighting for a very long time. Whether it was in Grand Bahama or anywhere else, he continuously fought as an educator for better existence for teachers. And I want to say this to all the persons who want to get into politics and who want to understand how politics go. There can never be destiny without history. David became king after he killed Goliath. Do something first. There are a lot of people who see something, not because they see it as empty means any butt should sit in it. That sound for you. That sound right? Not, I gotta use the word but, because this is a...
Yeah, I think they understand you.
Not because the seat is empty means and what should go in it.
Right.
And so there are persons who would have done something first. And then that value is transferred. History then produces destiny. And when you've done nothing, you should continue doing nothing wherever you are. But when you have taken on the mantle of public service, the country can no longer demand quality from persons who are not qualified. We've done that down long enough. But this young man, and I could say I would have vouched for Zane Lightbourne, not because, and this ain't no pop-up show, but I know the brother a little bit, and the kind of work that he would have done historically. Forget Parliament, man. There's some people who have done something, and I know a little bit. You walked out of education, and you took your talent. LeBron took his in South Beach. You took your talent into the political arena, and Yamacraw became the inheritance. How is Yamacraw?
Yamacraw is doing great with much work to do. Much work have been done. And we have an excellent team that make me look real good. We're very active. We try to do activities that speak to the progressive nature of the country, where we want healthy persons. So we have a exercise program and a fitness program. This Saturday coming up, I'm going to put in a cheap plug here. We have a Zumba and outdoor fitness gym by Bull Fitness.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's once a month.
You participate?
Oh, of course. I am in the gym 3 times a week, early in the morning for 1 hour, because I believe in physical fitness. And so I've also extended that program to the community.
You got Nicki Minaj and them, the young ladies who I met in your office one day. Are they in the fitness part of the thing?
Her name isn't Minaj. She isn't Nicki.
Minaj. It's Nicki Moss.
Yes, Nicki Moss.
It's Nicki Minaj. Nicki and Minaj. A Minaj.
Yeah, okay. Minaj, yeah, but I got you. So, Adrian, you're still a little mischievous, but a very intelligent fellow, and I commend you for this show.
Thank you so much.
I think that you're an excellent host. You bring background with you, and I'm not just saying that the nation, when they hear your voice, they can hear that there's substance to the voice, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
But you always have a sense of humor, and I like that too. I think that is actually the ability.
I'm so crazy, man.
To be joyful and to spread joy.
Yeah, man.
Keeps you young. So the constituency of Yamacraw has been one that has always been diverse in its makeup. Mm-hmm. You have lower income families to the wealthy. Mm-hmm. And so you have to strike a balance there and find things that everybody is interested in. So we've been very active. Everybody wants a clean environment who mean well for their country and their family. And so we've been very active keeping Yamacraw cleaning it up, making it better than we've met it. We have educational programs for the youth. We have a STEM program.
Explain the STEM program.
We have some young people that are exposed to STEM as the science, the technology, the math, the engineering.
Yes.
And we've even added art to it, so it's more STEAM than STEM. Mm-hmm. We expose young people to use their creative minds to create something, to solve a problem, to think of something in science or something that can be solved by science and creativity and a mix of math. And to create that something. So this Christmas past, we used the STEM program for children to create decorations for their homes. Mm-hmm. So they were able to take a battery. Mm-hmm. They were able to take some paper and some tape and just some little mechanical tools and get a Christmas tree to light. All right, to just have a light on the
That was crazy good.
So they got involved in something that was joyous because it's a Christmas affair, and then they made light, and so they made an LED device of just some simple things that they had laying around. We provided the rest of it, but that was an idea that was born out of a young mind. So we give them things to do. I've worked with Aisha Bo in a program that she has she had at St. Andrews this summer, and that too is a STEM program, but she is a rocket scientist. She's a space scientist from NASA. Wow. And our country is very proud to have her as a female space scientist who actually went to space. And I was there when the rocket went up. I went to support her. That's crazy. I had the opportunity to represent the country for that, and her grandfather, who was Forster Bo.
Yes.
And it was so surreal because you're standing there and speaking with persons like Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
And people like Jeff Bezos, and just having a normal conversation, but knowing that there is a bigger.
Well, you remember Jeff Bezos back to town. They could use a couple of dollars from Jeff Bezos. Boy.
Well, we always welcome, and Oprah has somewhat of a. This is like a second home for her.
Yeah, she would love for the Bahamas.
Yes, and so we know that the rest will come. Many want to come.
Yeah, man, they want to be the Bahamas. Just the composition of persons in your constituency, in terms of age, the elderly. How do you measure youth versus age in the constituency?
Well, youth is, to me, identify a particular body, a particular group. But when you're talking about feeling youthful, that could be anybody. Mm-hmm. So we have programs that take age into account. Mm-hmm. And let me give an example. I wanted to open an urban renewal center in Yamacraw. I got a lot of pushback because it wasn't priority. So, some colleagues fight and say, in the city, we've been waiting a long time and so on and so forth. Yeah. But I got to fight for my people, right? So I identified a building I was able to convert that building. I asked the Prime Minister for the building. Obi Wilscombe, the late Obi Wilscombe, who was a good friend of mine and yours, I know. He was the Minister of Social Services at the time, and it was a building that was actually owned by Social Services that wasn't in use in Elizabeth Estates, and or the Yamacraw part of Elizabeth Estates. And he would have agreed to give me the building. But before we had a chance to formalize the transaction, he would have unfortunately passed
away.
So during the time, the PM, the Prime Minister, who held responsibility until he made a decision on that, he agreed with myself and Keith Bell at the time. We went to him and said, we'd like to have this building for a renewal. And Keith agreed that if you don't do this, I'll get this done with you.
Wow.
And so that the program there is a seniors exercise program that all of the urban renewals now have, where seniors can come together to exercise on Friday. They can come together to learn things like sewing, to do other programs within that building. And then in the same building, you have young people, homework assistants, and they're taught certain crafts in that building.
You're more in your constituency, more 50 and older or more 50 and younger?
It seemed to be 50-50, but however, it seemed to be more 51%, 49%, the older persons being the 51%.
Interesting.
And so many people in the area own their own homes. And home ownership is big with this progressive government. We boast that we have brought more homes out of the ground and caused more young people to have home ownership than any administration in recent history, because we know in the last decade we have only seen this government build homes. The former administration wasn't able to give people the joy of home ownership. They said they wanted to do something, but there's a difference between wanting to do and actually action.
They're critical. That's critical because we're in a major housing crisis in this country. And just last week, it was cutting the ribbon of another 35 homes, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously that has become a key instrument of this administration.
Yes.
The need for housing in our country has become critical. Guys, again, we're talking with the minister with responsibility for the environment and natural resources, because I want to get into environment and natural resources. But I want to talk to Zane Lightbourne. First, Zane, you love music. I can still remember a little bit of that. You're a music person.
Yes.
Tell people for a second who you are, because you can get into the job of the work.
Yeah.
But the person, Zane Lightbourne, why are people so endeared to you? Why are people, because you seem to be, from my guesstimation understanding, one of the young persons who is in the up and up in the Progressive Growth Party, but also in the country. People seem to be endeared to you.
Well, I'm humbled by that. I have a simple background. My parents were, I grew up in Eleuthera. My mother was born in Cat Island. She was a Cat Island woman. My daddy was a Greencastle Eleuthera man.
So you and Vaughan Miller family?
Yeah, Vaughan was my cousin.
Wow.
You know,
Jesus.
So at a young age, my mother and father met here in Nassau. And then after I was born, shortly we moved to Eleuthera. And that's where I did all of my schooling up until the time we moved back to Nassau for me to go to College of the Bahamas. But during that time, I attended Preston H. Albury in Eleuthera. I grew up between Roxanne and Greencastle, and that's where I had my solid island life, island boy upbringing. Came to COB. And during the time of COB, I came on a government scholarship. So I hear them talking about this is a grant that was done under the actually Pinland government.
Yes.
That gave teachers and nurses at the time free tuition to the College of the Bahamas. It was then. It's now the University of Bahamas. So I came up under that particular system, and also we would have had an opportunity to pick a course. My mother wanted me to be a teacher. I wanted to be between a teacher and a pilot. Now, we couldn't afford flight school, so I went with what my mother wanted. And I enjoyed, because I wanted to do law, I did history and geography. During the time that I was in COB, I had to make money. all right? Because even after the government pays your tuition, you are able to sorry, you have to find your
resources
resources for your books, for everything else. And so I started working with my uncle, who was from Canada. He had a liquor store called Artistown Liquor Store.
You started working in liquor store?
I started working in liquor store.
You developed any kind of personal libations?
No, not at that time. I wasn't interested. I think I was too young to drink because I went to college at 16.
Oh wow!
But you know, I worked there, and then I ended up because he had a bar. I learned how to bartend. At that time, you had to read books. There wasn't no YouTube.
Learned how to bartend at the age of 16. Pew! Then I call on Jesus.
So no, I was 18 by then.
Okay.
You know, just helping out. They let me clean up the store and everything else, and then I ended up learning how in the pub. By the time I learned how to bartend. And so I read a book called, I think, 1001 Drinks. And I read through that book. At this time I was studying, I learned to become a good bartender. And so then I got a job at the zoo in Rock and Roll because they needed someone who was good to serve tourists, everybody else.
Jesus Almighty.
And that's how I got in the nightclub business. And then I always loved music, so I used to spend my little breaks in the DJ booth, right? And so during the breaks in the DJ booth, I learned how to spin some records with Flavor, Graham at the time. They had Ace, they had Mercenary, a couple fellas. Later on, you had Terrible T. Butcher, you had Butcher, was there at the Coliseum before. But he wasn't at the zoo at the time. He was on the bigger things by then. And so that's how I got into DJing. And it became something that I carried through college. And I was working in the day, and I had a hobby called DJing in the night.
Guys, if you are in Parliament and if things get a little stale in Parliament and you all want to know what to do, Zane could break off one or two quick on you. Next thing you know, you got we hear some serious music up, and the next thing you know, you got some R. Kelly being played right in Parliament.
So I don't know if that's a good choice. I mean, the music good, but I'm going to reference that as my first choice.
R. Kelly, bar none, is probably the best musician
talent
in the last 50 years.
Crazy talent. I heard him sing live, and he has chords. Yeah.
Listen, man, he just got caught. He got caught wrong, but that boy is the most talented writer, singer. You can't get better than R. Kelly.
Well, you know, the music industry took me to, when I became a teacher and students found out that I was a DJ also, they loved it. And then once the school found out that I was a DJ, I became senior master once I was promoted, and I used to DJ to our school events. We found a way for the students to behave because I was the man who was responsible for discipline.
Yes.
And they couldn't freak themselves out during the dance, so they could have a good time. In a nice way. We told them how to have clean fun.
I love it.
And so, union standing up for teachers. Some of them who taught me. That was when I started to be a voice for them, and I found out that I could negotiate things on their behalf. I found out that was my skill. They wanted a better staff room at the time. I remember complaining. Some of them weren't promoted or regularized for years. And I was a voice that helped to negotiate some of that. My friend Quinton LaRoda was a unionist also. Yes. He was at the forefront, and I supported him because he was a shop steward. And so the rest is history. I moved up in the union, and then later on I was asked to I was in the National Congress, which was the highest level I've served in the union, as the Secretary General of the National Congress of Trade Unions. Bernard Evans was president, Paul Mena was first vice, but I was also Secretary General of the Bahamas Educators Managers Union.
You always have because they say these union leaders are used as a springboard to get into politics.
Well, you know, the country, they could say that. I mean, it's justified that some people might have that as their aspirations. I won't take that from them, but not all unionists.
Obi Ferguson, Obi didn't make it. Obi didn't make it. Obi was an activist in Crooked Island trying to get that nomination, that by-election, back in the day. When Dr. Franklin walking, wonder what we cried that night.
My good friend Obi.
Yeah.
Obi is one of the most brightest union minds legally.
The pieces, man. One of the best we
and
got.
he is, and you know Quentin Loroto reminds me of him, because he in a different way, but when it comes, it's just sharp, just very sharp when it comes to labor law.
I tell you this though, I scared of Obi. I'm very much afraid of Obi. I had Obi on a couple of occasions, but I'm afraid of Obi. It's like, I'm going to have to start right now. Then when I go to Obi, I have to put a date on it and tell him something. Because when you go back to Obi, it's a little different talk. I going to take a break. But Obi slick. Obi slick. Obi will tell you something one day. Next day, Obi is a union politician. Anyhow, Obi Ferguson said, love you to pieces, my friend.
Love you, Obi.
Yeah, that will be. Let's take that break and we're going to come back. We're talking about the environment, and then this people trying Kentucky boxing thing on the car. I want to talk about that because Minister Lightbourne, we can put a beating on some of these people because you can't have people at tourism coming here to a dirty nation. Let's see if we can fix this thing.
People because they ain't Bahamian.
They can't be Bahamian, man. Let's take a break. And after the break, guys, more from the future here with Minister Zane Lightbourne on ZNS 104.5, 1540 AM. Adrian Francis, it's interesting. You said, welcome to the future. Imagine you in the future. And everybody who you talk to always talking about the past. Leaders are always in the future. They only come into the present to make sure the vision is going in the right direction. Most leaders you talk about, they talk about a dream. They're imagining something beyond what is happening. I said it yesterday. Martin Luther King said, I may not get there with you. But he was seeing Serena Williams play in Nassau Stadium. He was watching Michael Jordan's statue going up in front of the Chicago Bulls Stadium. He was watching Tiger Woods putt visionarily, but he did not see it in the natural sense. What does your future look like? If next was now, where would you be? What would you be doing? That's the question about the future. Creating a Bahamas that Bahamians begin to enjoy, and a nation where those who are abroad can return home. That's what we want to do with this show. We want our people abroad to say they want to come home. They won't walk in the sun. And so today we're talking to Minister Zane Lightbourne, the minister with the responsibility for the environment and natural resources. Minister, you have a passion for this country outside of the dumping process that you put in the various constituencies where persons can now, rather than just dump anywhere, they can now dump in big bins. But beyond all that's small thing compared to living in a tourism economy. 12.3 million or 12.6 million persons coming to the Bahamas. And you want an environment there, like Disney World, where every 5 seconds people pick up garbage. Every 10 seconds, they got 10 seconds or a 30-second policy at Disney World, where there's no garbage on the streets. How do we get back to that?
So in progressive countries that want to preserve their way of living, they fight to preserve their culture.
Yes.
So they look at foreign trends and they fight against foreign trends. Some have been kind of extreme and gone to the extent of fighting against just foreign entities on the whole, anything that's foreign. In our country, we survive from the presence of foreign persons, of tourists. And so it's our job as a host to make sure that our house is clean when people come here. Gone are the days when we could depend on persons driving, and the rate of traffic now is busy. People are working. You can afford more vehicles on the road. It's cheaper to get. That you can take a community and expect that when they have 1 or 2 loads of trash, they will spend the day fighting traffic to get to the dump to come back to make an next trip. So we had to find a way in our new Bahamas, Nassau in particular, of helping people to get rid of their waste, hence the transfer stations. Started in Yamacraw. I had an idea, and this wasn't a new idea. It was new to us. But this was an idea that came to me, and I found out later that this was done other places, and in slightly different ways. But so we want the country to become aware, because I wanted my environment, my community, my constituency to become aware that you don't have to dump your garbage in bushes. It affects you. Gone are the days when you dump your trash in the ground and you say, okay, just bury it and we could be okay. It seeps into your water table, it makes you sick. There are proliferation of mosquitoes, of rodents, of rodents that cause diseases. It's an eyesore. It's just unsightly, unhealthy.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Downright nasty. And so what we had to do was cause not only these transfer stations to come in existence where we take your bulk waste for you. We still have residential collection, mind you. So this isn't garbage that's out there that smells. This is bulk waste that we take in the transfer stations.
Yes.
You put it in a big bin, it's in one location, and then you take it, take it to Howard Road for you. And so we found that this was working and less people dump in the bushes. Now we still have too much dumping in the bushes still, but it has decreased it by more than 60%.
My God, that's good.
And what we want people to understand too is even though green waste is biodegradable, right? We have a lot of palm trees, we have a lot of coconut trees. Taking the coconut tree branches that become rotten or the palm trees that become rotten and throw in the bush is a form of littering, and that's a good hiding place for rodents.
So how do we, you talk about the penalizing process because it requires a penalty. Sometimes you have to send a message.
Yes.
And I'm not one of those who's a proponent of cleaning up my house because someone is coming. I clean up my house because that's who I am.
You're a clean person.
I'm a clean person.
Yes.
They get to benefit from the fact that I'm a clean person.
Yes.
And so I'm not cleaning up because a tourist is coming. I'm cleaning up because this is who I am.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's a subculture. I don't know what it is. So it's brought on a new sense of nastiness in our country, in our culture. But this environment, and even among the whole idea of the importation of the second-hand vehicles out of Japan, they got a 1 year, 2 year life cycle, and it just seems as if our streets are clustered with all these cars that can no longer serve persons.
I'm glad you went there. We had a meeting today, and there's a cabinet subcommittee that was created, I think, 2 years ago, 2024, that has the Ministry of Works, the Ministry of Urban Renewal and Housing, and the Ministry of Environment. And the PSs for those ministries meeting to formulate a system where we can remove these roadside garages out of the community.
So all of what you see with Stronitos on Soldier Road and all these piled up vehicles on that.
Yes.
These mechanics working and leaving all these vehicles on the side of the road.
Yeah, so what I want to do, and I told them today, I'm not good on too much talk. I need to see some action. I shouldn't see a paper that's signed in 2024 for something to be done, and then we're still 2 years later trying to figure out how it's supposed to be done. We're the smart people in the room. I'm talking about the leaders of these ministries. They're the technocrats.
Yes.
So it shouldn't be difficult to formulate a way. Now they have. I have to give them that. But some people become paralyzed by some things that seem insurmountable, right? So when it looks too big, they become paralyzed and they're doing nothing.
My God.
And so it costs too much, it's too big, it's too... If we take that attitude about anything or everything, we never get things done. And so I said to them, look, how do you eat an elephant? If you have to eat an elephant,
bite it one piece at a time.
Bite one bite at a time. And so what we need to do is find the biggest roadside garages within the neighborhoods. We have identified them. You call some of them, and we are now we were able to get a parcel of land, enough acreage to move them and others out of the community into an industrial zone.
What kind of time are we looking at?
Well, I want this done. We have a site visit next week on the land. Next week, Tuesday, we have a site visit, and then we'll be advised on what environmentally we'll need to do on this land to make sure that none of the liquids or byproducts from breaking down these cars go into the environment.
Guys, I hope you're listening because this here is a home run. There are things to me that make sense. And there was a fire on Joe Parrington Road with Robert's car lot about 2 years ago. And cars burn and burn and burn. So much so that it affected and impacted so many houses. You have to bear in mind that there's still some fuel, some gasoline in some of these cars. And you hear boom, boom, boom. Cars being blown up and everything else. The minister at the time was Vaughn Miller. But I remember the member of parliament for Seabreeze, Leslie Miller.
Yes.
and her father, they were out there. We were just standing watching all this thing just burn, and it burned for almost a week plus.
Yeah.
So
These are oils, and the danger of having roadside garages, you're dealing with gasoline,
yes,
you're dealing with motor oil, and any other type of oil that goes along with a motor vehicle. And eventually, once this vehicle starts to fail, then those liquids end up on the ground. The ground becomes saturated over time.
Yes.
It's a dead zone. You can't grow anything there because it's just a ground of oil. And we found that a lot of the ground was just burning because this was liquid oil.
It's a
over
big
time.
story, man. It's a big story.
And so for us to move with haste in this is every day is a day every day missed is a day wasted, an opportunity missed at the time. So at this time, so we're looking to move with haste. I don't want to put a timeline on
Yes.
it because with politics, it's not to give an indication of time. We still have to work with the Ministry of Works,
Yes.
put in water lines, infrastructure roads, and this I want to do in the nearest possible time. And I'm not focusing on any particular bill or anything. I just want us hurry up, get it done because it's a danger to the communities.
Guys, you're hearing probably one of the biggest stories that you can possibly get at this time in our country. If it were me, and I'm having a vision for the Bahamas, the future of the Bahamas, I would like to see the Bahamas be the cleanest country in the entire region. Let's start with the region first. I want the Bahamas to become one. When persons come off the ship or they come into our country, they'll be like, wow. I would like to see something so much so that people go back and brag about how clean the Bahamas is. That's a low-hanging fruit. You cannot impact the atmosphere if the geosphere is bad. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved. Why? Because darkness was there, confusion was there. And He said, let there be light. What cleanliness does, it adds light. It adds light to an environment. God wants to impact our atmosphere, but He has to first clean up the geosphere. We got to get this ground clean in this country. We can't, and I want to say this clear, we cannot allow subcultures. We cannot allow subcultures to come and change who we are.
Yeah, that's not us. It's not us, and therefore, in order to preserve our culture, we have to fight to preserve it.
That's right.
It's a saying, a proverb, and it's derivative of a Bible verse that evil prevails when good men stand by and do nothing. And so it's important for us to act, because if we are paralyzed by fear, or paralyzed by the fact that this seemed too big a task, then the situation probably get worse. And so with our seeking to fight back, I don't want to say change our culture. We want to fight to get our culture back to where it was. When we didn't have grass on the ground, and when there's only dirt, we used to take the coconut palms and sweep that.
And
because you wanted to see the stripes. Yes, the lines.
God,
that's when you know it's clean. Nothing there but brown lines. All right? If you got grass, then God bless you. You're rich enough to have grass, and that was clean, that was green. So we have a national cleanup campaign. The third meeting is tomorrow, and we're inviting all stakeholders. Eventually, we want to get the core group to understand what we're going to present to the public, and then we're going to ask for the public to get involved in this national cleanup campaign. This way, everybody get out and do something to turn this situation around and fight to get our culture back, our culture of cleanliness. And that is going to be rolled out real soon.
National Cleanup Campaign.
Yes, National Cleanup
That's
Campaign.
That's what you're talking about.
And this is picking up, we're starting with the basics. You are going to walk outside and just look at your surroundings, and each before his door, he swept. Then the village would be kept.
That's right.
You're going to sweep before your door first. If you look outside and the neighbor needs help, you're going to help the neighbor to clean up their
you'll be nice. And
we have so much volunteer standing by.
I'm telling you, it'd be nice, because as a low-hanging fruit, I would love to see a competition called the Cleanest School.
That is a part of it.
Oh my goodness gracious!
That's a part of it. The cleanest yard and the cleanest school.
The cleanest yard, the cleanest school.
And the most improved. So we want people to target areas where...
Take on your colleagues, man, and let them decide, right?
Yes.
The cleanest constituency.
Yeah.
And the cleanest constituency we give out a trophy in Parliament that day.
It'll be a shame if I lose that.
See that you.
But I have great constituents, so I know they wouldn't let me down.
if you start out
No, my Yamacraw is a constituency. We fight.
Yeah, you wouldn't be starting out at a deficit.
Yeah. We wouldn't be starting out at a deficit. We are doing our part to make sure that we walk the talk. And so I understand that this seemed it seemed too much for us, and it seemed like somebody got to do it. But we are of the belief that we have to do it. We are that somebody.
This is a priority. Let me tell you why this is a priority, Minister. Mm-hmm. This is a priority because you cannot get to the biosphere unless you first deal with the geosphere. The challenge is, before God can even make Adam, he cleaned things up. And we're asking, the first thing God gave man was image. Out of image comes imagination. If your image is distorted, your imagination will be limited. We cannot get our children to imagine in atmospheres that's impacting their personal lives.
Yes.
They have to see more to be more.
Listen, I was at CR Walker School, and they got a green flag, and this is an international award that's given to schools that seek to go green, have a clean environment, practice energy efficient practices and conservation, plant trees, and they were able to get this green flag from our Ministry of our Department of Forestry, or Forestry Unit in the Ministry of Environment. So we are targeting schools. We are targeting civil society to help us, non-government organizations and private citizens to help us to identify beaches, to identify yard. Everybody can identify a yard that they would like to see clean and say, boy, I would like to see that yard clean. So we're asking for us to be our neighbor's keeper.
My God.
We have, like I said, we have a lot of people on standby waiting to go. We want to make sure we have the campaign rolled out properly. And we're going to ask people to come out on a particular day. I'm not going to give you everything because the committee has to make some decisions. And we are going to have a national cleanup program. And this isn't going to stop our bulk waste removal programs in the communities. This will go hand in hand with that. But we want the entire country, especially Nassau, to be clean, green, pristine, and it's connected to the health and wealth of our nation.
Man, listen, you get me excited, guys. Now we're going to partnership. This show is going to partnership with the Ministry of the Environment, and I know Brett Archer. I spoke to him about this. He's the charge of radio, and then Faisal Paul to me tell you hello. He's calling you MP.
My good constituent.
Your good constituent. Faisal to me tell you hello.
Shout out to Faisal.
The chairman.
He was an excellent member of Parliament also.
Yeah, boy, could preach.
Oh yeah.
When he got
and you know everybody's name in this community.
I ain't never seen no church called boy like that in my life.
I trying to get there.
He used to be a softball player at Zednas. He used to play same softball team, right? I tell the boy used to be an athlete. Now you look like an athlete.
You claim you used to play all kind of things.
Yeah. Faisal used to play softball. The other day he told me when he hit his first home run. Now, I couldn't remember that. Because the only thing I remember hitting was a single. He talking about home run. But we had a very helpful team back in the day.
That's my good.
I'll tell you, right?
Good constituent.
This ocean dumping. You got to come back here, man. We run out of time. This ocean dumping stuff, man. We have to get this. There ought to be something that works for us. There was an oil spill during Dorian in Grand Bahama, and that oil spill, I don't know whether we successfully addressed that yet, because I understand that some of the oil is still in the forest in Grand Bahama, and I would like to, when you return to the show, I want to talk to you about that level penalty, whether it's the ocean dumping and all those kind of things in the environment. I'm going to have Prescott Smith. We can do a show together with Prescott next time by himself, because I saw where he called in. But I want to talk about some of the things that actually bring remuneration, because Equinor is the company in Grand Bahama where they had the oil spill. And I don't know whether or not under the last administration, whether we ever got the right compensation for that oil spill.
Well, let me give shouts out to Prescott, who was always fighting.
Yes.
An excellent steward of our environment, and he's always fighting internationally and
Yes.
otherwise to get us more support to help preserve our environment, restore some of our environment. And he works very closely with the Ministry of Environment. In the short time I've been there,
Yes.
he have reached out a number of times, and I rely on
Good guy.
his expertise and his knowledge in certain areas for us to be able to do more in this field. As for this ocean dumping, the cruise ship industry, and I know we're running out of time, but the cruise ship industry I've met with twice since being in office. And I made that priority to have a meeting with them just so that we can greet. They had asked to meet so that they can introduce themselves to me as the minister formally. And then we followed up with their wanting to dump in our landfill in terms of where do you put your garbage.
Yeah.
Now, we would rather that the garbage is being taken care of properly. But we don't want to encourage cruise ships to come here and say, okay, this is the place where you're going to dump your garbage. Not unless we can probably transition that into energy, or we have
Of course.
something that benefit overall the Bahamian people.
I
So
know.
that discussion,
Yeah.
it will only go in a direction that benefit our country. Our health,
Simon,
and the
listen.
people.
I owe Simon, listen, because I can tell you right now, cruise ship wanted to dump economic money. Show me the money. I need to know that anybody, we are creating a Bahamas that Bahamians will begin to enjoy.
Yes.
A nation where those who are abroad can return home. I don't want anyone coming here thinking we're low fence.
Not at all. And so our beach cleanup, mangrove conservation and preservation, our addressing these cruise ships, and everybody who uses our waters is a part of an overall plan to continue to have our environment not only to be to have improvement, but to be the envy of other regions.
That's what you're talking about.
Everything that is on land that we end up using, there's a possibility that it ends up in the ocean. There's a possibility that it ends up in your drainage.
Yes.
We're asking persons to stop putting their garbage out on the side of the road.
My God.
Okay? If it's a planned pickup, that's something else. But those should be bulk items. We have people that just dump any matter of trash on the side of the road and somebody's supposed to pick it up. This ends up in our drains.
This
and
I
then we
saw
complain about flooding.
This
ends up in our in our water tables.
I saw a rat the other day, right? Jeez, listen, man. I saw a rat the other day. This can't be a real rat. It's a regular human size. It's a big rat.
Yeah, and the thing is, we know that the reproduction of rodents far surpass any other species, well humans, any other mammals, right? And is just as maybe keeps. I don't know any other mammals that reproduce faster than rodents.
Jesus, but listen, I go to the garbage the other day, and when I opened the garbage gate, and I pulled the garbage toward me to throw the garbage in, one big rat jumped like it right in my chest and break off on it. Listen, I almost passed. So let me tell you something. When I call on Jesus, this one big rat.
So if the public want to get rid of rodents in the area, they can do some of their own treatment. The persons down at the Department of Environmental Health Services, you can collect rat bait and they will teach you how to use it. Or you can call the hotline and they can come and treat the area for rodents.
Whew. Listen, man, I talk fast because I know we're out of time. But listen, man, whenever you wanna come back to the show, I gotta tell you, you have an open opportunity to come back because I want. They got two fellas. Barker's Road is going to be here tomorrow. But they got two fellas tall as you. Barker's Road will back you right up. You talk about basketball, Barker's Road will dunk on you. But Barker's son beat him the other day. But Barker's Road, my money on Barker's will be here tomorrow.
We on the same team. We on the same team.
Yeah, I want to see you all one-on-one.
Yeah.
Barker's, I want you to take him on, Barker's.
Shouts out to Yamacraw. Shouts out to my wife. Shouts out to my children. Shouts out to everybody who was a part of Team Z and Yamacraw. Shouts out to this progressive government that continue to listen to the Bahamian people and fight for real results.
I
think that this is, I appreciate you having me here, Adrian. I'm going to come back because this is a national program. We need you on board.
No,
Yamacraw have a lot to talk about.
Let's get that
Farmers Market Saturday, Zumba Saturday, and we're doing a registration drive. If you want some eggs from one of my farmers, you get free organic Bahamian grown eggs if you bring your voters cards to showing that you're registered on
again,
Saturday, Yamacraw. This is for Yamacraw.
Again, give me some eggs. Listen, man. Nikki Moss.
Nikki, yes.
Good afternoon. Listen, I'm on here. I blame Brent Archie for this, man. On the morning next.